Nice.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the random podcast of awesomeness.
Yeah, get it right.
Title pending to be changed.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes, we're working on that.
Yeah.
Ah,
So,
no.
This
We are
week,
joined here by... Damn it.
This week we are sponsored by
Toyota.
yeah, by Toyota, by our awful cars.
in Domino's
Hey,
Pizza.
Camrys are awesome.
You shut your mouth.
So,
Anyway,
today here we have with us...
Roy
Oh,
three.
Oh, we're supposed to introduce ourselves?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
we are. God,
I am Shinku Sama.
That would be
I am
Corbin.
Roy Burger 163.
I am Gurdette 14.
Woodburger.
I am Fred Fredberger.
Shut
That would be Cloud.
Cloud sounds like a fan.
and anyway, and this is Shadow Wolf. And this week we
Yes.
reviewed the game Super Castlevania 4.
Castlevania.
Yes.
Castlevania.
Well, sorry. These past 3 weeks we played
3 weeks.
Castlevania 4.
At
and
least,
none of us
at
have
least
actually
that's what we
beat
were
it.
supposedly doing.
Supposed to do.
Yes, but
We played it
Apparently
for a
this-
week, and then technical difficulties prohibited us from recording.
So,
Yeah.
so we're here
Otherwise-
with you today.
What? Yeah, but we're here to discuss this game. Well, I am, because, I'm the most hardworking member of this podcast. And I have beaten this game numerous times because it is very, very easy. It is a very easy game.
Shut the fuck up, Burke.
So, okay, first off, Castlevania, side-scrolling Castlevania games. What do you guys have to say about side-scrolling Castlevania games?
They need to be
I mean,
more 3D-ish, like Lords of Shadow. All the previous ones sucked ass and should die in a fire.
Well, maybe we should
Lol.
start off by saying what Castlevania is.
Castlevania is a
I
2D platformer event action adventure game thing, what you would call it, and where you take the role of the legendary vampire killer Belmont family in the most cases. Some cases you're not. And you primarily have a whip, or in some games you get to use a different variety of weapons.
Or a gun?
The original games were linear. You just followed the path, and then they evolved to what are called Metroidvania games, which are pretty much Castlevania, but on a take as in Metroid or Super Metroid.
Well, at Metroidvania, as in, there are certain areas
It's a
in the
labyrinth.
game where...
It's a labyrinth.
Yes, certain areas in the game where you can't access at that point. You get an upgrade, and then later on, you can access that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, it's still linear, but it has a little bit more of a little bit more...
Are you telling me Super
explore-
Metroid is linear?
Lol. No, that game is not linear.
It's like an action
You have so,
RPG
you have
type
so
of
many
idea.
paths.
But yeah, the one we played, Super Castlevania 4, was the last linear Castlevania game before they switched to Symphony of the Nights type, which is Metroidvania.
Yes.
Corvus forgetting about Bloodlines.
Well,
Right, you just played
wait,
this.
Bloodlines was after 4?
Yeah, Bloodlines is after
Okay,
4.
sorry, is next to last.
So gameplay, standard gameplay. In this game, you control. It's a Simon. Is it Simon?
Yes, it's
Yes,
Simon.
it's Simon.
Simon. And you have a whip. And the thing in this game, you have a whip, but you can also use that
Vampire
whip
Killer
to,
Whip, by the way.
Yeah, vampire killer whip. And you can grapple on to certain things in the environment and swing back and forth like Bionic Commando.
Derp.
And also,
That is really the newest innovation in here, although there are several others. If you guys recall, the old school Castlevania games are famous for being ridiculously difficult due to stilted controls.
Yep.
Super Castlevania 4 bashes this reputation by giving Simon full control while he is in the air, as well as the ability to attack in in most of the 8 directions.
and you can also
and he can also flail his whip around.
yeah. I was about to say that
Yes.
you can also whip his whip back and forth.
He whips his whip back and forth.
Back and
Oh,
forth,
okay.
back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Anyway,
Which I believe is the Japanese attempt at sexual innuendo in my video games. Chronic masturbation and all.
I think you're taking it a little too far over there.
No, Burke's just used to it.
We really want that good rating from YouTube.
I'm sorry, Burke. If that's the way you like to do your business, that's the way you like to do your business. You know, flailing your around. So, besides the point.
Would you guys mind if I interject in order to get into the story?
Yes, I would.
Sure.
Go for it.
Okay. All right. This Super Castlevania 4 is actually a remake of the original Castlevania 1, as we can tell by Simon coming back, or at least going to go.
It's not a remake. It's a prequel.
No, it's a remake.
It's not a remake. It's a prequel.
It can't be a prequel because then Simon's dead in Castlevania 1.
No, it's a prequel to Castlevania.
It can't be a prequel.
It's the in-depth story.
Yeah, it's a remake.
It's not.
I would love to see you guys argue about the Castlevania story.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, there are a lot of elements to this story that we could argue incessantly on. Anyway, the too long didn't read version of the story is Dracula's a badass, go kill him.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty
Pretty
much.
basically.
That's pretty
There's
much
not much.
the
There really
story
isn't much
to all
story.
the Castlevania games.
Yeah, there's
Not
much
all,
story.
not all, and certainly not even most. If you really want to, think about it, but a good handful of them, yes. But yeah, you control Simon Belmont, who has a bloodline that will be explained later, and because of this bloodline, he is able to wield the legendary vampire killer, which is wholly elemental in later games, but is not elemental here because elementals is hard to incorporate into an action RPG.
So hard.
Yeah, so very hard. How about you guys start doing basic gameplay control?
Also, wait, sorry, Gardette.
What?
I must let you know, this is actually the sequel to Castlevania.
Which still doesn't make sense because, as we have established even in Castlevania 1 or 2...
Here's from the prologue of the game. I'll post it in the Skype chat for you. Or I could have just said it.
Yes,
Could've
let's
just said
say it.
Yes, listeners, read this Skype conversation if you know about the storyline.
You're not going to
of
see the
Castlevania,
Skype conversation.
Super Castlevania 4.
So
Hey.
You want me to read it since I have a beautiful voice?
It is time once again for Simon Belmont to call forth the powers of good to aid him in his battle. Armed with his mystical whip, his courage, and the centuries-old knowledge of Belmont family training, he sets forth on his mission. ...
So, as I proved, this game is now a sequel to Castlevania.
Which doesn't make sense based on what we learned later.
Castlevania sense. Get at me, bro.
Castlevania sense.
Oh well, that's just
But
the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, so
Yes.
the story is he killed Dracula once, he has to do it again, etc., etc. Now, gameplay-wise, this game is pretty fluid. I mean, there are definitely some platforming that could have been a lot better, like the stage where the whole screen turns.
I love that stage.
Well, if they would have gave you a bigger platform and not make these Medusa heads come flying out of all directions to try and knock you off into the spikes, sure. But no.
Yes, there are certainly some interesting issues with the game.
Well,
Yeah.
I have my little huge gripe, and my huge gripe is that game is easy, but they notched up the difficulty by making you fall off the damn stairs
Yeah.
Yes.
all the time.
They love doing
Always.
that. They love doing that.
I was killed by a boss
Stairs
maybe 3
return
times.
as one of the main enemies.
Yeah, pretty much.
15 times.
And this happens in a lot of the earlier Castlevania games as well.
Yeah.
Oh, look, you're hit. Your hitbox doesn't reset before you land on the stairs. Whoops, you fade through the stairs. Fall into a bottomless pit that's actually a platform beneath you.
Yep.
Wait,
You try
what?
to go up the stairs, and you try to jump away from the stairs, but it will detect it as, oh, you're trying to jump down the stairs and die. Okay, let's go with that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the game has very basic platforming. Like there will be platforms that when you jump on them, you have a split second to jump off of them before they
Because they will crumble.
Yep. Well, they'll crumble or they'll spin around and
Flip.
knock you
Yeah,
off.
those flip.
Crazy stuff.
I hate
Yes.
that. I hate those fucking...
General platforming challenges all around. Nice, good family fun for everybody until you start raging.
Yeah.
Yeah, our motto for playing this game was be like Corb and don't get mad at video games, you know.
Yeah. But I kind of wish that there was an actual whip, the Bionic Commando whipping was actually used more because, frankly, like the only time you ever use it was for like very basic thing, like parts of the game where you just go, I'm gonna have
Pretty
to
much
grab.
where it's forced. It's very rarely an optional thing, which is
That's the
indeed
thing
a
about
drawback.
it's a feature, but it's not really a feature just because it's very gimmicky. Like there's
It's
really
very
no like.
gimmicky, and it really does feel forced to me. It's like they have these segments where you have to use it or else you die, and then you end up dying because you're trying to find a way around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the flail is very cool because it has that nasty stopping power as you just flail back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
But outside of that, yeah. I mean, it's pretty standard side-scrolling Castlevania, which means it's really, really good because,
Oh yeah.
frankly, like the Castlevania games, the bread and butter are the side-scroll, not the terrible 3D ones. Like Castlevania 64.
No,
Yeah,
Castlevania
Castlevania
64 was
64
awful.
is guaranteed to make you rage. There are just really bad elements in that game.
How
I
about
almost
this,
beat that
however-
game. I almost beat that game.
This game, however, is, in all seriousness, the gameplay actually does work really nice, but a few of the level designs specifically are just, they really do get inventive, and that's not a bad thing at all. It actually keeps the experience fresh all the way through. The problem with me is I can't beat the third stage.
Is that the one with the dragon boss?
Yes, that's
You're
the one with our
awful.
duo dragon.
You're awful.
Yes, I am awful.
You're awful.
Everybody here is awful. But
Puppy, you're awful.
like the thing about it is that level that Core mentioned earlier, the one where the map goes sideways. It is very cool. Like it's a very cool premise, but like that was the stage I had trouble with because it was just stupid. The execution was not well.
Yeah,
It was not-
the first part of it, you latch on to one of the hook things and you swing onto a platform. Okay, and now you just gotta wait for it to turn again. Except the platform is so small and you have to freaking destroy these Medusa heads, and if one hits you, you're knocked off and you die. You have to do it all over again and again and again,
Yeah,
and it gets
it's
kind of
just
annoying.
tedious.
Yeah.
because it takes a lot of precision to do it, and every single time you die, you just have to do that all over again, the exact same way you did.
Yes, the Super Nintendo's sad take at 3D video gaming.
But it's still done very well, and it still looks beautiful. Graphically speaking, this game it definitely has a pop. It draws you in. The environments are very lush. They're bright enough to where you can actually see what you're doing most of the time. And the few times where it's not, it's for their BS enemy placement or for camo.
Yeah.
Like the Invisible Man in Stage 1. Oh look, I'm covered with leaves. You can't really see me. Or the cave troll in Stage 3. Oh look, I can hide behind the background.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Or the guy who goes through the wall.
Ow.
Yes.
Or guy who goes through walls. And then, of course, one of the staples of any side-scrolling Castlevania game is the bosses.
Yes. Now, to be fair, I suck at these games, so I was only able to get to the third boss.
Gasp.
Ah,
Girl
But I
that's sucking
will
at
say-
Castlevania.
But I will say that the bosses that I did fight, I enjoyed them mostly until, of course, the third boss just started owning me with the stupid logic that, oh look, I can fall down here even though I know there's a platform there, and now it's no longer there.
which boss is that one?
The double dragon boss, I forget what his name is. If
The
you
one
go
with
too
the
far up,
heads? The one on the waterfall?
Yeah, he's got a waterfall and 2 heads. But the thing is, if you scroll too far up, the screen will scroll with you, and it will take the base out of the level. And the coding for it is still there, but you die because it's no longer there for you.
You're no longer in that area. You're now in the boss area.
I mean, literally what I did, I just stood on the top right platform and just spammed my knives at it until it died.
Yeah, that's what I did. It's the easiest way. 'Cause if you kill the head that does the long range move, kill him with the short range move. You just run in and keep on smacking it, and it dies.
Frankly, all the bosses are like all the bosses are pretty easy. It's at the end of the game that the bosses get kind of ridiculous. Like Rodin, I don't think it's Rodin. The guy, basically the skeleton with the spear.
Okay.
Death?
Yeah, it is very difficult because
Did you call him Roland?
I was going to call him Rowden, but that was an earlier boss. Rowden.
Death. You know,
Death.
Death, the skeleton with the sickle?
No, not him. No.
He's talking about Slogra.
I think so. It's a skeleton. It's a skeleton enemy, but it's not Death because Death's always easy.
Yeah,
It's like
Death is
Dark
almost
Souls.
always easy.
Have you played Death in Castlevania 1?
No, but I played Death.
You can cheat your way through him, okay?
Yes, you can cheat.
Cheat.
Death.
Cheat.
You can cheat that. Well, to be fair, Death's always like, hey, you, I'm going to take all your equipment.
No, that's Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to take all your armor.
It's like the whole thing about Castlevania games. Like, you're Dracula. You are badass supreme. You have some scrub coming into your castle with no equipment. Like, ill-prepared to kill you. Instead of jumping to the front of the castle and killing him right there and then, you're like, you know what? I'm going to sit back in my lazy boy recliner with my wine. I'm going to go let him amount resources. Oh, and by the way, I have minions that leave pork lying around for him to heal himself.
And I'll leave money in the candlesticks.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let him get stronger. So then at the end of the game, breaking the fourth wall. So at the end of the game, he fights me and defeats me because I am too lazy to kill him in the front of the castle.
Come on, Golden Girls was on. I love that show.
What? What?
Oh, fuck.
What the fuck are you talking about,
He could TiVo.
Hear that? Hold still. I'm going to cut your tongue out.
Anyway, back to our little.
Golden Girls.
I love the Golden Girls though.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm too bad the only one of them is left alive.
Oh, damn.
Anyway,
And then the
back to
podcast
the
turned for that.
podcast.
Meow, 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 meow.
Okay, I guess we should probably cover the basic. We forgot to cover something really important. Silent is not just equipped with his vampire killer. Throughout the stages, you'll be able to pick up sub-weapons. These include the knife, the holy water, the cross, which is actually the boomerang, and the axe. Yes.
And what they do is...
What about the spear?
I'm not entirely sure if the spear is in this one, mainly because it's never actually been a sub-weapon.
I don't think there's a spear.
Whoa.
But anyway, so these sub-weapons are completely useless.
Yeah. No,
The knife is actually pretty useful.
The knife is great.
No, the cross is broken.
Well,
the
cross is pretty good too.
The cross is always broken, though, for some reason.
Just throw that.
For some reason, a big, heavy object is broken, Gerdad.
Well, the thing is, the cross doesn't really do that much damage. It's the fact that it hits multiple times on everything.
Well, yeah. And it's also the fact that it's a cross, and horror fiction, cross hurts like hell because it is a holy object against these horrible demonic creatures.
But some of these creatures aren't even demonic. Matter of fact, a lot of these creatures are not undead.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have the frogs. The frogs, the broken frogs.
Yes, the frogs.
Frogs.
How do you know they're not
But-
demonic frogs?
Because they're called frogs and toads.
And they also hurt you. For some reason.
They do hurt you, but they don't really pursue you. They just kind of hop around.
Frogs.
Oh, my neck.
Anyway,
And we have injury, a podcast injury.
Apparently. Anyway, we should probably move on to the music.
Great music.
Oh, yeah.
And just like all the other Castlevania games are famous for, there is very, very good music and an overall astounding soundtrack in here.
there is.
But again, because I'm using emulators, I usually have my own tunes blaring in the background.
Damn it, Gerda, we keep telling you we don't approve of that on this podcast.
You don't, I do.
Anyway, the music soundtrack is very beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Then again, a lot of us don't really, have the music playing while we're playing.
Who are you?
We're usually playing our own stuff.
I always do.
Well, you are in a small minority. Congratulations.
Unless the music is really that terrible.
Yeah, like that one game that Corp wants me to buy in the 360.
Hey, Tales of Vesperia is badass.
That battle theme was terrible. But yeah, the music is good. Pretty good, I'll say. Speaking of, and we're still talking about Castlevania, but me and Cole originally got Harmony of Despair for the 360.
Meow, meow, meow.
And we have another friend we were talking to, and I heard music playing, and I'm like, who the hell here is listening to Metallica?
No,
Or
it sounded
metal.
like Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah, it sounded like some very like your basic metal, like like something like your basic metal, and I'm like, what the hell is that crap playing? And then I'm gonna come to find out it's the Harmony of Despair music, which isn't very good.
Well, the Harmony of Despair music is usually just remixes of older songs.
Well, the whole game is really a rehash.
Right.
Yeah, it's like,
Well, it's a very budget game, but it's good.
it's cool.
It's good. It's good.
Has some way in it.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really think we should just keep ourselves to just this one game. I mean, it's Castlevania. We gotta discuss all the Castlevanias, don't we? Like obviously the Symphony of the Night, which is probably the best one, outside of the 64 one, which is incredible.
The Game Boy Advance ones are pretty good.
Yes,
I
they are.
really like Aria of Sorrow, even though I never beat it. I think Aria of Sorrow was great. Symphony of the Night, trolly, very trolly.
What
did
a
you
thing,
think of it
man.
anyway?
But it's
That was our soundtrack. And so what did you guys think of the graphics?
looks like a Super Nintendo game, honestly.
I really wasn't
It does,
impressed.
but it's
I think
still-
it looks bad. It looks
In all
solid.
serious-
Just bad.
Yeah, it looks like what it is. It looks like a Super Nintendo game.
I mean, it wasn't very. Like, frankly, I wasn't very impressed because we've seen a lot of Super Nintendo games where do a lot of cooler stuff with the graphics. This game just looks
Like Out of This World, which
Yeah,
is
Out of This-
previously reviewed. Check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, that game has a very unique style. This one, it's not that unique. It's just
It's your basic
Yes,
16-bit game. It's your basic 16-bit game. It's Metroid. It looks like Metroid, but with a different skin.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, that's a good way to put it, I think.
And I really don't think it was. I mean, I really don't think it was that colorful. I mean, a lot of the stuff was just gray, like very
Yeah.
color tones. Like some of the enemies, obviously like the green skeletons, things like that, but nothing we haven't seen before.
I mean, the sprites were okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad looking game to look at. It just isn't out of this world. Oh. Anyway, but yeah. What about you, Gerda? What do you think about it?
I personally really enjoyed playing through this game. I thought the graphics were very good, especially for an SNES title. They were a bit darker, but they were supposed to be. So it definitely felt like I was playing a Castlevania title.
Okay.
Shadow?
Yeah, I enjoyed the graphics myself. I mean, sure, it's a Super Nintendo game, so you can't really get wonderful things out of it, but
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, yeah, and the thing about this SNES, like, a lot of the developers had to do a lot of weird things to get their games to work on the system just because in a lot of ways they were handicapped. And yeah, but I mean, what it does well. But I'm not going to sing its praises off the top of rooftops.
I did notice one thing though. Throughout the playthrough, I'm not entirely sure if if this game actually used any of the Mode 7 graphics that the SNES was famous for.
What makes you say that?
Because I'll admit I suck at the game, so I was only able to get to the third stage, but I don't recall any SNES sequences or any Mode 7 sequences. You know, like zooming in or zooming out of where you were.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything like that, honestly. I can't remember anything in another game. Like, no, I mean, I don't remember anything like that.
Right.
I don't think it did it, actually.
Kind of surprising to me, but oh well.
Happens.
Yeah, I mean, it does everything well. It's not like it's really missing it. I mean, a lot of people don't talk about Super Castlevania 4, but that's probably just because this game is it's solid, but
Yeah.
there's like it gets overlooked because there's a lot of other side-scrolling Castlevania games that are frankly better.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Super Castlevania 4 is universally hailed as one of the best Castlevania style or old school Castlevania game.
Would Symphony of the Night be counted as old school or is that the beginning of the
No,
new school?
Symphony is Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, but to be fair, like a lot of the Castle, like Side-scrolling Castlevania games around at this time, like they were very, very, very basic. I actually remember playing. I forgot which it was a Game Boy one, like the old
Simon's
Game Boy.
Quest.
Yeah, I think it was that one. And
Castlevania 2.
yeah, it was incredibly basic. Like it was just your average side-scrolling game. Like all you did was you had a whip, you jumped, like you did platforming, but that was it. There was nothing else to that game. And yeah, this game does things a little bit different.
Not so different as to distance its audience, though. This game knows who it's for, and even though it's still one of the easier Castlevania games, this game will kick your ass at times.
Well, the final bosses will definitely, like except for the final boss, which after the last few bosses that are really really hard, then you have the final boss, which is pretty much a pushover.
Slagra.
Yeah, Saga.
Basic games usually have their difficult points.
Yes,
They
they
usually
do.
have their disappointing final bosses. But yeah, you know.
Do you guys want to pick out a favorite stage theme?
I really like the first stage's theme.
I think I'm
do 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 do
Anyway.
do do do.
Not
I'm
what
trying
I was
to remember.
going for, but okay.
I think I mentioned a few
What?
times that I really really like the
It's not
theme.
stage 4.
It's in stage 4 theme, the theme where like the one where you're like in a cave. The cave
Actually, that seems to be stage 3, mostly.
This is the one you got on. Wasn't that the one we're stuck on?
Yeah, I was stuck at the tail end of stage 3.
Huh. That's the one where you have the falling rocks, right?
Falling stalagmites, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that one, but I don't know. I really didn't notice that much. Like, I really didn't pay much attention to the music, even though it was pretty good by all accounts.
I really wasn't trying to go into music, but okay, I was talking about overall level layout. My personal favorite level layout, only because I only made it to 3 of the levels, mind you, was level 2. Mainly because I loved the idea of actually following the river and riding down the log through the river in order to, and dodging enemies, blowing up gargoyles, all that kind of good stuff. I thought that was actually really exciting.
That's true. I kind of like that too.
I'll probably say like one of the last levels, like the castle levels. Like the one I really like is the one where right before you fight, I can't remember. I think you fight Medusa in this game, right?
Yes, you do
Yes.
fight Medusa.
Yeah, I
you
think
do.
that, like the Medusa level, I really like the castle level. It's just like around the end of the game, and even though it was very very badly done, like the level that Core mentioned, I thought it was really cool. Like the whole room changing, going sideways. It was frustrating, but looking back on it, I'm like, if this would have been handled better, this would have been very cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, like all the stages are pretty solid for the most part. The one that Jordan mentioned, the water level, I mean, it's pretty fast level just because you're going downhill a lot.
Yep.
But it's really the only level that really shows out like the water. Like it was really a water level. I think there's one later on because usually
what?
ones the water levels is usually that's where you fight the fish people.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have to love fish people.
Oh, the
Merman.
merman, yeah.
Crazy merman.
What else is there to talk
Well,
about?
let's talk about the bosses a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't really go into the bosses. Yeah, like each boss in this game has a certain pattern you have to follow to defeat them. They're very like the first few you don't have to do any like strategy at all. You just basically just whip, get out of the way, whip, win.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first few bosses are not that good. Then they start getting better after that. Like I think the first boss is the skeleton on the horse. Is that it?
Yep.
and that
Undead
one was just
Warrior.
laughingly easy. Second one, I think is what's the second? Which is the second one?
Second one is Medusa.
Medusa.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
Medusa.
she is ridiculously easy too.
Easy, yeah. She's
Yeah.
really easy.
Like it really doesn't really pick up until the two-headed dragon. That's when like it starts
Yeah,
getting kind of
yeah.
hard. But yeah, I mean, all the bosses have very basic patterns. The reason I find that the later bosses are really hard is because their patterns are a little bit more random, it seems, or seemingly random, like the spear skeleton thing, which I had an incredible amount of trouble defeating. Took me a lot of tries because I couldn't latch on to the path of defeating it. I mean, what about you guys? Any boss give you any troubles?
What did I think? Not that I can really think of.
Uh,
It really gave me a problem? No, not really.
Two-headed dragon?
That was the one that I was stuck on, but the boss himself is not really that difficult. I could see how you're supposed to beat him, but my main issue with this game is the classic knockback that sends me into the bottomless pit that was once a platform.
right, it's the trying to get the strategy down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about it. It's really the whole thing where you'll die a few times, but every single time you die, you'll pick up a little bit more about what you should and shouldn't be doing,
Right.
and what you shouldn't be doing is fall into your death.
Well, that's always a good idea anyway.
Yeah, usually. Yes, rule of life. Don't fall from extremely high heights to your death. It's just what I live by every single day.
But Burke, you're awful.
That is true, but I'm still here.
Sorry if I keep on getting quiet. I keep on getting disturbed. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
It's okay.
We're all
I know
slightly
you have-
disturbed.
Yeah,
Love you.
especially Gerda.
Yes. Disturbed
Sad.
is what we are.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're all awful.
what about the dancing ghosts?
What?
Do you guys remember the dancing ghosts?
Corb probably does. You see,
The
the main
what?
problem was, again, I only made
That's
the
a
stage
ghost.
3.
It's a stage 6 boss. Just some stupid two ghosts like literally flying around the map. Like the most seemingly random boss ever.
Well, the thing is, that boss, as well as most of the bosses in this game, will actually turn into normal enemies for later games.
This is
Especially Ghost Dancer. Oh,
Oh yeah, definitely the ghosts in a lot of those later Castlevania games. They'll appear, but I'm remembering Aria. In Aria, it seems like they only really like there was one room where it was littered with dancing ghosts.
yep. It was littered with Ghost Dancer, and the reason was Ghost Dancer was an important soul to get.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. So later Castlevania games, they became normal creatures.
Yeah, same with the Undead Warrior.
Poor Undead Warrior.
except, of course, for Dracula.
Well, to be fair, Dracula eventually becomes spoiler alert, so...
He eventually
Yeah.
becomes spoiler alert.
yes.
He eventually becomes spoiler alert.
Good
Yeah,
shape, Gerda. Good shape.
Gerdat.
Hint,
What a
hint,
pro.
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, also the night guy, he was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But he basically had the side weapon as his thing. Like he'll throw the axe at you, that'll
Yep.
curve and hit you.
Yep.
Or he'll like slam it on the ground and hit you with fire.
Did anyone,
But-
Final guards
did
all
anyone
over the
here
place.
actually make it to Dracula?
Well,
Um,
Bert's beaten the
he does.
game a few times,
Yeah.
so...
I
Once,
think you
actually.
beat it once, yeah.
Once. I almost beat it twice when that my Vietnamese Famicom exploded.
Yep.
Dude, seriously, get yourself a different country Famicom.
No, it's cheap.
It may be cheap, but it keeps exploding on you.
I just gotta treat it better.
Yes, you must feed it every day.
I gotta
Feed
feed
it
it
every day.
the tears
Go
of
worship its
children.
feet 3 times a day.
Mm.
Wash its socks.
Socks.
Yes,
What?
it has socks.
What?
Why do we always get so off topic?
Because we're a podcast, we're allowed to.
Because we're only 35 minutes in.
We gotta talk about something.
That's true, though. It really is.
Are there any
Yes.
major complaints that you guys have?
Wait, actually, Dev.
Yes, we
Yeah,
haven't
fuck
really
that.
talked
I just remembered
about
now.
complaints.
Medusa
Dev,
heads?
that's my complaint.
Can Medusa heads be a real complaint?
Sure.
Well,
Or-
yeah, but Medusa heads can be a real complaint, but you have to realize that everyone has that complaint, so it's not necessarily unique.
It should still be a major complaint.
I have a complaint.
Sure.
What?
All right, what's up, Cloud?
Yes,
You've
Cloud.
been quiet.
My complaint is they show the enemy bar for the entire level up to the boss fight.
Yes, they do.
They do.
It just seems very sloppy because it doesn't really serve any purpose. And like traditionally, when like I'll take Streets of Rage as an example as a side scroller, the boss bar only shows up when the boss is on screen. So
Same with
it's like a momentous occasion.
Kind of.
But
Yeah.
this game, like, why is it there that whole time? That's what I'm wondering.
Because you know when you're going to encounter the boss.
It wants
You
to
see,
know
before
how
you
much
load
life-
It wants you to know that there's a boss on this
Yes,
level.
there is
Yeah.
a boss. You will be encountering him, and it will be soon.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I would have if it would have been me, I would probably if we actually would have used it use it for every single enemy. Every time you hit an enemy, it will show you how much health that enemy has left.
Oh, look, he has 2, and I deal 2 damage.
Yeah, exactly. But then I'll probably be even more stupid.
that's,
the thing
that's
is-
too much information. You know.
Yeah, it is too much information, but it's what they pretty much do in the actual Metroidvania games, because they officially have real hit points, and you get to see how much damage you're doing per strike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And honestly, if they would have just taken that out completely, it would have been even more rage filled.
Yes, because you need to know that you're actually doing something.
Yeah, just because a lot of times with the bosses, especially in this game, you can't really tell if you don't have that gouge to let you know that this boss is almost dead. You wouldn't really be able to tell just because most of them don't really go through. They go through multiple stages, and that's another indicator. But outside of that, like you really don't have any clue how much damage you'll be doing.
Well, other than Death and Dracula, does anyone else have multiple stages? I know that Undead Warrior
Slogger.
does, and Medusa doesn't.
I think
Slogger
Slogger does.
Well, yeah,
think-
Slogger does because
He gets more
his
random.
Yeah, he gets more random, and he loses his spear.
That's
I'm pretty sure
what
that
it
Gaibin might.
Actually, I think that the rider, what happens is like I think you kill the horse and then he starts running at you with a spear or something.
Okay, so yeah, multiple stage bosses. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of them do. I'm trying to remember what else. Last one, Dracula.
Well, Dracula's got to have multiple forms. He's freaking
tell-
Dracula.
Right.
Boy, his whole thing is like he'll teleport, throw fireballs, and then he also has this other weird lightning attack.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much it.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, and then you win the game, and then you're like, "Oh, that was cool."
Mm-hmm.
Time for muffins.
What? There.
Nothing.
Any other complaints?
So.
I don't really have many main complaints except for the password system.
Okay.
This, as with the other old school Castlevania games, these are definitely meant to be beat in a single sitting. So, in the event that you can't do it, they give you the password system. Passwords suck. They're always
A lot of the SNES games had it.
Yes,
like-
a lot of the old NES games had it, and a few
Mega
of the
Man.
SNES games.
I did not like the Mega Man ones. They annoyed the hell out of me. The Mega Man password system, and yeah,
Yes.
that's all.
Passwords are always annoying because you either have to write them down or say, "Screw it, I'm just going to emulate it."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, back
and I
in
really
the day, you
wonder
weren't going to
what
emulate
it's
it.
for. Well, I mean, I
Exactly.
really wonder why, because there was like other SNES games where you could actually save. Obviously,
Yes, there are like the Final Fantasy series.
like no, my
Yeah.
whole thing is I wonder if it was a decision they made, like, well, this game is pretty short, so they should be beating this game on the first sitting, or if it was like some kind of technical issue.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It probably was. It's probably due to its length. Because in all seriousness, if you can sit down and beat this game in one sitting if you're good enough. It's only between 2 and 3 hours, but you got to be good at it.
Mm-hmm.
one
Well,
thing I will
you're gonna
say
be pretty decent.
is back in the day when Nintendo first came out with games, is they didn't have a feature to save. So
Right.
when the original Zelda game came out, they actually put a battery in the game so that you could actually save the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
how that all came about.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not that. It's yeah, it's an issue just because honestly, sometimes you might want to play the game. You don't have 3 hours to spare to beat the whole thing in one sitting. You want to save, but you can't. So you have to sit there and beat it all at once.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, my whole complaint of the stairs. That's really my main complaint. That
you
and
can use
Sloggo
the
and
stairs
Death.
for every single Castlevania game.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Almost
mostly.
every, yeah.
All
Mostly,
the
yeah.
old school ones have that issue.
Right.
Maybe it's not an issue. Maybe it's a feature.
It's not a feature, trust me. It's an issue.
No,
It's an
might be
issue
a
that they
feature.
never bothered to resolve.
Might be a feature, Gerda. You never know.
Yes, I do know.
You don't though, because some games have like broken hit detection as a feature.
Well, actually, they make your hitbox 1 pixel wide.
Yeah, but the whole thing about it is like you walk into an enemy. Oh no, I've taken damage. Or it's like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure I hit that enemy, but apparently the game says I didn't.
Yes, your hitbox is screwy. Screw you.
Screw you, hitbox.
It's like Roy and Marth. Yeesh.
Gerda.
Ew.
Gerda.
Yeah, get that.
Speaking of, do you think that this is totally off topic? But do you think that
Who
we might
cares?
get Castlevania into Super Smash Brothers at one point?
Castlevania.
They could probably do it.
Yeah,
But
probably.
they could. They really easily could. Well, I mean, we're getting. I think Ezio. We're getting Ezio in which game is it?
Soul Calibur.
Yeah, we're getting Ezio in Soul Calibur.
Yes.
I mean, we
Soul
got a
Calibur.
Link. We got a Link in Soul Calibur.
Yes.
Yoda too.
Yes, Yoda and Darth Vader were in 4.
My favorite was obviously Spawn in the Xbox Switch.
Yes. Spawn.
But yeah, I wouldn't
Anyway.
be surprised. I'm not sure if Konami will actually allow that. Because they seem to be anal about some things.
Yes, they are.
But what I would really, really love to see is another really great console Castlevania game. Actually, what I really want to see is a good 3D Castlevania game.
Well,
Lords
go
of
play Lords of
Shadows.
Shadow.
I was just about to say that.
Is that one for the PS2?
No, PS3. The PS2 one was actually decent.
Wait,
Well,
that's a
there's two
PSN game,
PS1s.
isn't it? Isn't that a PSN game?
What?
The Lord of Shadows.
No,
No,
Is
it's
it
a
full
full
retail game?
console title.
it's a full game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard people mention that one before. Because I always think about the one of the PS2 ones was like close to like a launch title, which was terrible. 64 one, which was
Whoa, Lament of Innocence wasn't terrible. It just wasn't as good as it was supposed to be. I say this not having actually played the game.
yeah. So shut your mouth.
Damon, want to turn that?
But I did play Trevor Mode in Curse of Darkness, and that supposedly controls very similarly to Lament of Innocence. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can personally say that if in the event that the previous statement is true, then Lament of Innocence did not have control issues.
Well, control isn't the only thing that makes a game bad.
Yeah.
Well, Lament of Innocence is technically the first game in chronological order.
Chronological orders. We care so much. Like the whole thing with like the whole Zelda thing, where people will be arguing about which game falls in which order. Nobody really
Zelda
cares.
2 is not first.
Nobody cares.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
When Skyrim,
Fanboy.
My word.
when Skyward Sword comes out in a week, or no, actually on the 20th, nobody's gonna care. Oh, this game falls behind this game. Nobody's gonna care. Somebody's gonna be too busy enjoying it.
Yeah, and then 2 weeks later, people will start debating the timeline.
Yeah, except in this one, Zelda is a childhood friend, and not actually
So
a friend. I don't think
it's clearly after or before the first game, right?
I don't think she's actually a princess in this one. Oh,
Yeah, I'm very confused by it in this one.
Yeah.
But that's
Which
besides
actually
the point.
lines it up with Zelda 2. Huh.
Yeah. Well, the point is that there's no point, actually. This podcast doesn't make any fucking sense.
So,
Random podcast of awesomeness.
so do you guys want to give a little thing on what you overall thought then?
We
I
still
think
have
it's a
to ask someone
classic.
about their opinion.
Oh, that's what we're doing now.
Sure
Yeah.
that.
The thing is, Cloud hasn't given his opinion yet.
Well, just watching this game makes me nostalgic for the days I used to play side scrollers on the Sega Genesis. I feel like I would have a ball playing this game all the way through. It looks like a lot of fun.
And if you're good at it, it actually is.
Yeah.
Like me.
Lol. Also cop
But-
cars. That's the ones that cop cars.
Come on. But yeah, I mean, personally, it was good. I liked it. I had fun beating it. I beat it on my own time. I wasn't forced to play. I didn't have to play it. I beat it, which says a lot for me because I never beat games. Ever.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey, you beat Out of This World.
I did because I was forced to because I opened my big fucking mouth and said, "Hey, let's
Hey,
do a
this
podcast on
is
this
a
trolley
YouTube
game."
video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I gotta beat this game for this podcast, and I literally spend my Sunday morning and partially afternoon beating that game.
Yep.
That was
Your fault.
That was a great weekend.
Yeah. You're very mad.
Hey, that game was
So,
great.
This
how
video
about
is
overall
rated G,
ratings,
some
guys?
restrictions may apply.
Yes,
What was that, Grenette?
reply. Yes,
What?
that's what they will do. They will reply.
Now, what were you saying, Gerdette?
I just-
How about overall ratings?
I think it's a Pokey Draco out of 10.
You and your stupid Pokey Draco.
Honestly, I think it's a classic. So I enjoyed it. I just got out of the swing of things and I just stopped playing it. I'd give it a good 7 out of 10.
I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Sure.
Really? Would you actually explain why?
No, because he's trolling.
No,
Are
Yes.
you really giving it a 10 out of 10 or?
fuck no. This is no Uncharted 3.
Shut up, Burke.
Okay,
No,
give-
I
give
honestly,
your-
I'll give it a serious score. I will give it a 8.5 out of 10.
Serious.
And
I mean-
explanations as?
Explanation is because it's a very good game. Honestly, it's just solid. It's solid everywhere, and that's basically why I'm giving it 8.5. It's because it's solid. But the stairs knock it off 1.5.
Alright. I am actually quite a bit behind you, Burke, mainly because I suck at these games. As such, I don't really enjoy playing.
No, hey! You can't put your
I
personal.
cannot say that these are bad games, though. I can't do it. I'm gonna give this game a 7.5 out of 10 because
So you're using
there's
personal
definitely a
bias.
good game in here, but I can't figure out how to access it yet.
So you shouldn't be reviewing this game because you have personal bias because you suck at it.
Oh, I definitely have personal bias, but that's why they're here. To hear our personal biases.
So disregard Grad's review.
7.5 out of 10. I just can't access most of it.
Giving it a 0.5, so yeah.
The hell you are.
Like, yeah, who the hell do you think you are?
Meow. Anyway, Shadow.
10 out of 10.
It's a very nostalgic game, and I enjoyed the gameplay. I love the soundtrack, as I do enjoy most Castlevania soundtracks.
Castlevania soundtracks. Yeah. Everybody does. That is a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
So, I'd probably give it a 8 out of 10.
Like hell you do.
Wait. And
No.
how about you, Cloud?
He said
Oh.
0.5 out of 10.
No, I didn't. I'm
0.5 out of 10.
gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
How the
Damn.
hell are you
What?
giving it a 10?
9 out of 10? I give
Yes.
it 8.5. I was putting my neck on the line with an 8.5 score.
No.
Anyway, why do you give it a 9, Cloud?
He's cho-
Because it looks like a lot of fun to play. It looks like a good game.
And it is. It is both of those. I just suck at it.
Just, I don't care if you suck at it, Gerdat.
Nobody.
Ooh,
Damn. We got some anger in this podcast.
some racial tension.
Racial tension.
Wait, how is that racial tension?
Because the Gerdat species sucks at video games.
This is true. This is very true.
Because Gerdat is black.
Yes? Since when?
Since last week.
Really?
Everyone in
Huh.
this
I'll have to
podcast
update my
smells
profile
black
pic.
people, just so you know.
Yes, we all endorse black people.
If anybody here has any right to say anything about minorities, it is I.
Yeah, Burke.
After
For
all,
people who
he's
do
half
not know,
Mexican.
yes, he's half
Actually,
Mexican.
no. I am white.
You are half.
Yeah,
Mexican.
but you're half Mexican.
Half Mexican. Fuck you all.
Hey, this is a
I'm not the...
this is a kid friendly video.
Like hell it
Nobody,
is.
nobody even watches this. We have like 1.5 viewers.
1.5.
The second viewer accidentally got cut in half.
We
Whoops.
want to thank
Whoops.
Southpaws.
Yeah,
Yes.
Southpaw, our one viewer. Good shit, man. Good shit.
I also want to send a personal shout out to Dark Xander if he actually remembers to actually check out the channel.
Also,
I
want
have to redirect him, but
to shout out that asshole who left a dislike on our previous podcast last week.
you mean a month ago?
Oh no, wait, was that me?
Yeah, it was you.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, and please
Good
subscribe to
job.
Burke to his new channel, Enemy Freak Burke.
No, shut up. No, my new channel, Royd Burger 163.
Royd Burger. What the fuck's a Royd Burger?
It is a hopped up burger.
Uh,
It's also a
Anyway, it
numeral.
sounds like most of us in here are getting a little delirious. So let's close up and
Little?
a little, yeah, a little.
Shipping off fumes.
Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to us. Hope
Hell
to
you
see you
are.
guys
The podcast not over.
back next.
No. Anyway,
What?
back to our discussion.
please stay tuned
Is-
for our next video.
Which will
Yes,
be
we don't know when it's going to be.
probably a
in
year from
6
now.
months. 6
Yeah,
months.
yeah. Look back. And
How about a year and 6 months?
sounds good. Sounds legit.
That sounds like, yeah, in a year and 6 months, we'll still won't be prepared.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll
Thank
still-
you for watching.
I'll
This
come
has
and
been
get it.
Shadow Wolf.
Oops.
Like hell
We're at
you are.
14.
No.
Roy Burger 163.
Carbonic XC.
Cloud.
Damn. Cloud.
Pokey Draco.
Anyway, thank you for watching.
Choose.
And
No.
until next time, guys. Bye.
See you.
There's no
Be safe.
the show. This is over.